10 great pre-colonial African kings you should know about. Many of us call the black men in our lives kings as a term of endearment, respect, and encouragement, but with no extensive connection or education of black royalty. In the Western world, those words seem nothing more than platitudes. Usually, the only view of black royalty comes from over 4,000 years ago in ancient Egypt and Nubia. As we celebrate the kings in our families on Father's Day, we would like to introduce you to 10 real-life great pre-colonial black African kings we all should know about and identify with. 1. Endubis, 270 CE to 300 CE, Axum, Ethiopia. Axum was a powerful Northeast African empire which rose to power after the decline of ancient Egypt and Nubia. Axum is credited with conquering and bringing the ultimate end of the kingdom of ancient Meroe, that's Nubia. Axum controlled the Horn of Africa to across the Red Sea into the Arabian Plateau. Endubis was the first king of ancient Africa to mint coinage, and following Endubis, all Axumite emperors minted their own coinage, gold, silver, and bronze pieces with their faces and motto. 2. Musa Keita. 1. Mansa Musa, which translates as Kings of Kings or Emperor of ancient Mali. Keita I was the 10th Musa of the Mansa dynasty. Under his rule, Mali became one of the wealthiest countries of the world. From their gold and salt production, agriculture, and imperialistic nature and dynamic trade location, the kingdom flourished. Forbes named him the richest man of all time. Musa Keita I is famed with enriching the great trading city of Timbuktu, Mauritania, Niger, Senegal, 1210 to 1255. The Mali Empire took control after the Almovarids, Berber kings of Morocco, destroyed the Ghana Empire. Sundiata Keita is the renowned hero prince of the Mandinka people. This prince's rise to fame is chronicled in the poem The Epic of Sundiata, traditionally told by griots. The poem tells of Sundiata's fabled origins and details his preordained rise to kingship, the formation of the Malian Empire, and his imperial conquests, starting out with a victorious battle at Kirina on the Niger River. Afterward, he marched on, conquering all territories in modern-day Senegal, the Gambia, and Guinea-Bissau. The dynastic line he originated became one of the wealthiest and most powerful ancient West African empires. 4. Amenhotep III, Egypt, 18th dynasty, 1388 to 1351 BC, father of the famed heretic pharaoh Akhenaten and grandfather to the famous King Tut. Amenhotep III was one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs and the most successful of the 18th dynasty. During his reign, Egypt enjoyed wealth, peace, and stability. There were several exquisite building projects and monuments he commissioned, as well as the first man-made lake outside his palace in Malkata for his wife, the great Queen Tiye. During his reign, Egypt had exceptional influence in foreign policy and diplomacy, which he handled along with his wife, Queen Tiye. Proof of this lies in the renowned Amarna letters coming from Assyria, Babylon, Mitanni, and Hatti. When Amenhotep III died, He left behind a country that was at the very height of its power and influence, commanding immense respect in the international world. 5. Taharqa, Egypt and Nubia, 25th dynasty reign, 690 to 664 BCE. Taharqa was the one of the great Napatan Nubian kings, pharaohs, after his father, Pierre, successfully conquered Egypt in battle. Taharqa united the two kingdoms to form the largest African empire at the time. His empire spanned from the 5th Nile Cataract in Nubia throughout all of Egypt, up into the Middle East in Palestine. Taharqa is credited with bringing new peace and stability to Egypt, resuming building projects and arts in Egypt and Nubia, which were lost for centuries at the time. Biblical scholars believe he is referenced in the Bible book of Kings 19 verse 9 and Isaiah 37 verse 9 as the great king of Cush, who waged war against Sennacherib, king of Assyria. There are several monuments to Taharqa, and recently, in January of 2015, a great tomb sanctuary to the Egyptian god Osiris was unearthed in Upper Egypt. Its construction was traced back to the 25th dynasty, possibly during Taharqa's reign. 6. Ezana Axum, Ethiopia, 333 to 356 C. Ezana is celebrated as the first Ethiopian king to embrace Christianity and convert his entire kingdom. He helped establish the Ethiopic Church. He is also credited with bringing the powerful rival kingdom of Meroe, Nubia, to an end. Under his rule, the Axumite kingdom flourished. Under his reign, several unique structures and obelisks were erected. International trade was also increased. His coinage has been unearthed in locations like India and Greece. 7. Oba Eware, also Eware the Great, Benin Empire, Edo, Nigeria, 1440 to 1473. Oba Eware is known as the first king of the Benin Empire, the reformer of Benin City, and one of the first warrior kings of West Africa. It's chronicled that during his reign, he conquered and absorbed at least 201 surrounding towns and villages. Together, Eware and his son and successor, Oba Ozulua, were responsible for establishing a viable foreign trade in Benin, building substantial palaces, and creating several strategic policies, one of which removed the conquered towns' chieftains from absolute power but allowed them power in a congressional committee. He also created a patrimonial bureaucracy in which free men served as military and administrative chiefs. Outside of war and politics, Eware is described as a charismatic leader. He established several cultural traditions, communal events, and festivals. Under Eware, the tradition of Beninese arts flourished. 8. Soni Ali Songhai Empire, 15th to 16th century. Senegal, Nigeria, the Gambia, Mauritania, Niger, Senegal, Guinea. With Soni at the helm, the Songhai Empire became the largest Muslim West African empire of all time. Soni was a brilliant military mind and led the largest imperialist mission in West Africa. His forces were amphibious, attacking and patrolling by land and water down the Niger River. During his reign, the Songhai Empire reached its pinnacle, surpassing the Great Mali Empire, absorbing its territories, and the famed city Timbuktu. Islam spread throughout both rural and urban centers during his rule. 9. Oba Oduduwa, Oyo Empire, Yoruba Land, Nigeria, 700 AD. Oduduwa is considered the progenitor of the Yoruba land and Yoruba dynasty. He is a national folk hero and considered a primordial god in Yoruba culture. There is much debate on where Oduduwa originally came from or when exactly he founded the Yoruba land and language. However, he and his clan descended on the lower region of Nigeria and defeated several existing settlements to establish Yoruba land. Legend has it that he had 16 sons and daughters, and before he died, he sent each one to the center of his conquered territories to rule autonomously, where they founded the kingdoms of Ila Oragon, Owu, Ketu, Sabe, Popo, and Oyo. Oramiyan thus established the Yoruba dynastic family line. 10. Osei Kofi Tutu, 1660 to 1717, Ashanti Kingdom, Ghana. The Ashanti was a highly political, wealthy, and powerful West African kingdom. The Ashanti was one of the first sub-Saharan militaries to adopt firearms in their arsenal. Their source of wealth came from the large salt and gold deposits mined in their region, which they traded within the continental African states' trade routes. The Ashanti were an organized and disciplined Akan people. The Akan was the ethnic linguistic grouping of people who spoke Akan or Twi. There were several Akan states. In 1701, Osei Kofi Tutu, chief of the small Akan city-state of Kumasi, helped form the Ashanti Empire by unifying other Akan groups under the Golden Stool, that is, Ashanti seat of power. He influenced the other Akan to overthrow the dominating Akan group, the Denkyera, as well as conquer several other neighboring states. As the Ashanti, the unified Akan people absorbed several Akan territories and expanded the Ashanti wealth, power, and influence. The Golden Stool would remain the seat of power for the Ashanti until the British imperial government demanded the sovereignty of the Ashanti be turned over to Britain as its protectorate. This resulted in the War of the Golden Stool. This brings us to the end of this very video, and do well to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share it so that others can get to know more about Africa and African people. Thanks for watching, and do have yourself a wonderful time.